Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Can you briefly introduce yourself?
My name is Alex Carlin. I'm a journalist for the Center for Media and Democracy.
Excellent. You said to me, I quote you,
Yeah.
Africa is leading the way to solve the climate problem.
Well, just now, beginning, it's happening right now. This is the first moment, but Africa is going to be leading the climate solution movement, which is starting right now, which is saying, wait a minute, emissions reduction is fine for future additional small amounts of CO2 addition that adds to the current greenhouse effect. But what Africa is going to be leading the way with the climate solution is the greenhouse effect that's happening right now, causing, floods in Pakistan and all these things. That's because we have 1 trillion tons of extra CO2 in the atmosphere now. And so Africa is going to be leading the way with nature-based solutions to reducing that CO2.
Examples of this
Example,
nature-based
absolutely,
solutions.
absolutely. In the Indian Ocean, for example, there are, in every ocean, there are what they call eddies. And those eddies are where the fish go to eat. And right now the eddies have very little food. And it's very simple, fast, easy, and ecologically wonderful to get that food back in the eddies. And the fish eat that food, and you get huge amounts of fish for all the nations. But what that does is it actually removes very significant amounts of CO2 from the greenhouse effect problem we have in the atmosphere. It takes very large gigatons of CO2, and we can actually return our climate back to a safe, proven level of CO2 concentration. This is the best thing you can do for that. It actually takes you there. By 2050, we can actually go back down to 280 parts per million, which is a safe, proven level.
Okay, you have also a specific example for Madagascar.
Well, I'm just saying, in Madagascar recently, like 2 weeks ago, the African Union hosted a meeting about exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something that the African Union already appreciates.
Yeah, it's not a dream, it's happening
It's
now.
not a dream, it's happening right now. And African Union recognizes that as something worth creating a meeting where they brought in high-level diplomats and heads of government. There's a lot of people at that meeting in Madagascar recently representing many African countries, because this is a great new movement plan that's going to go out in the oceans and bring back the fish first, and because the populations are down 90% in some areas. And it's not because of overfishing and pollution and plastic. It's because the baby fish don't have anything to eat in the eddies. And it's very quick, fast, and easy and wonderful to you add little bits of nutrients, and all of a sudden plankton blooms. And when the plankton blooms, huge amounts of CO2 come out of the atmosphere, and we actually solve the climate problem. We're not just dealing with the damages, we're actually solving the root problem. So Pakistan doesn't flood again. So African countries don't have these terrible problems with climate change. We're dealing with African countries are going to be the countries doing it first. It's
Thank
wonderful.
you so much for reminding us that Africa is also the solution.
Africa is the solution. They're the leaders, and they're going to be right in the front.
Thank you so much. Before you leave us, please, can you sing us a line?
Yeah.
Africa will be the leader. Africa will be the leader. Africa will be the leader in the climate solution today. Climate restoration. Yeah, it's time for celebration. That's right, because the African nations are going to be leading the way in the climate solution for everyone, and they call it ocean pasture restoration. Hey, the plankton comes back and blooms, and when the plankton blooms, so much CO2 comes out of the atmosphere, and it even generates white cloud albedo and cools down the planet. African nations leading the way with climate restoration. Hey, everybody, look out now, Africa in the lead, showing the rest of the world how to do it right. And it's happening right now. It's already happening in Madagascar and the Seychelles and Mauritius and all over Africa. Africa will be the leader.
Thank you so much. You are so inspiring.